Nobody warns you about the true cause of a dying garden. It's not the sunlight, not the watering, and not even nutrient shortages in the dirt. The actual culprit is hidden from view. It's occurring about 2 feet underground at this very moment, unrelated to anything visible above ground. Check your garden following a downpour. The surface appears drenched, possibly flooded, but dig 6, 8, or 10 inches into clay-rich ground, and you'll uncover a nightmare for any gardener. A gray, oxygen-deprived zone where roots are suffocating in their surroundings. Roots aren't just absorbing water, they need to respire. After rain, clay soil packs down tight, blocking every tiny air passage like a lid sealing a coffee cup. The roots go without oxygen and start decaying. Above ground, the plant seems okay for days or even a week. Then it wilts away. You blame yourself for a mistake. But you didn't mess up. You just lack the key facts. Now get mad about this. The fix has been around for more than 2,000 years. It costs a flat $0 using something you'd toss in recycling, an empty plastic bottle. Forget pricey aerators or $400 soil machines. It's simply an inverted bottle planted in the ground. What it achieves in the unseen depths below your plants is info the fertilizer business has worked for decades to keep from you. Consider who profits from your ignorance. The worldwide soil amendment and conditioner sector hit $8.5 billion in 2022 per Grandview Research, with a forecasted 5.2% yearly growth to 2030. That $8.5 billion figure thrives mostly because gardeners and small-scale farmers think good soil demands bought fixes, aerators, tillers, conditioners, fake drainage setups. Step into any garden store, and there's a whole aisle of items targeting today's issue. Dense, air-poor, clay soil. Basic, mechanical core, aerators begin at $180. Mid-tier electric ones go for $400 to $600. Liquid clay busters, $30 to $80 per treatment. Every season, forever. Stack that against this video's approach. 3 plastic bottles in 10 minutes. $0. No error there. What turns this into an intentional gap, not mere neglect, is clear. Studies on soil aeration appear in peer-reviewed papers since the 1970s at latest. The science of passive airflow via slim conduits, the core of this method, is standard in intro engineering courses. It's basic knowledge, but basics don't rake in $8.5 billion yearly. Reliance does, an industry that massive pushes products over fundamentals. No plot here, just business sense. Free fixes, get no ad dollars, no display spots, no plugs in your social feeds. The $8.5 billion machine doesn't bury this info out of spite. It overwhelms it with cash. And the overlooked wisdom predates every company alive. Back around 400 BCE, Roman farm experts tackled this precise issue. They named it the subsoilum challenge. The hidden compacted layer under topsoil that choked roots and ruined fields into soggy messes post-rain. Their fix, simple and hands-off. Unglazed terracotta tubes sunk straight down or angled through the hard pan, forming spiritus terra, the earth's breath, pure physics via clay pipes acting as air conduits. As Romans spread north, the practice evolved with 18th century English farmers into tile drainage, networks of baked clay pipes under clay-heavy fields in Yorkshire and the Midlands. By 1850, over 3 million acres of British farmland had shifted via this buried pipe aeration. As recorded by the Royal Agricultural Society of England, chronic flood zones turned reliable yields in 2 to 3 seasons. It was real-world tested, reliable, common knowledge. Then came the 20th century. Mechanized agriculture exploded. Chemical fertilizers vowed quick wins. Tractors enabled deep tilling. An old-school view of soil as a vibrant, living entity got sidelined by a new idea of it as a lifeless base. You just pump full of chemicals instead of nurturing something dynamic. That buried pipe wisdom didn't vanish completely. It lingered on the fringes in tight-knit farming pockets and the private notes of soil experts ignored by big agrochem funders. Over time, it reached everyday folks in their yards clutching an empty milk jug and pondering if it could really deliver. It does, and the science explaining it is sleeker than any pricey $400 gadget could match. Let's dive into how it operates, since that's where the real ingenuity shines. Plant roots demand 10% to 21% oxygen in the nearby soil air for proper aerobic respiration. That's no mere suggestion, but a hardwired need, backed by decades of root biology studies. Right up to 2018, reports from the University of California Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Dip below 10% oxygen and root functions grind down. Under 5%, they switch to anaerobic mode, churning out ethanol that builds up and shreds cell walls internally. That's root rot's true chemical origin. Oxygen starvation first, fungi second. Anaerobic zones just happen to be prime turf for Phytophthora and Pythium, the fungal culprits behind most garden root rot cases globally. Clay turns into the bad guy up close. Its particles measure under 0.002 millimeters, so when soaked, they clump with barely any gaps. A good loam holds about 25% air pores, even post-rain. Drenched clay, just 2% to 5% airspace. That's thriving roots versus ones drowning in an earthen airtight box. Routine surface tilling, what every garden book pushes, only loosens the top 2 to 4 inches. But veggie and established plant roots plunge 6 to 18 inches deep. You're freshening the room's ceiling while the space below stays choked. It's the classic case of good intentions yielding zero results in backyard plots. So how does a sunken plastic jug flip the script? It taps a concept Daniel Bernoulli nailed down in 1738, rooted in timeless airflow dynamics. Wind sweeping over a tight bottleneck poking above ground generates lower pressure right at that gap compared to the buried hollow below. This suction yanks out depleted CO2-laden soil air and sucks in fresh O2-packed replacement. The skinnier the neck versus the chamber size, the stronger the pull. Take a typical 1.5-liter bottle, lop off the bottom, bury it neck up. Every breeze triggers a hands-free air swap cycle in your plot. Zero electricity, no mechanics, no upkeep. Pure Bernoulli magic, humming nonstop 2 feet under your key root zones. The reach blows minds because it's not confined to the jug's void. That pressure gap induces flow across the adjacent soil network, swapping gases via linked pores in a 8 to 14-inch radius per unit, varying by compaction. Space 3 right, and they reshape the root zone air in ways no shovel or top aerator could touch. But that's merely step 1. A parallel process kicks in 2. One biological, arguably more impactful, long-term. It's teeming with life. Earthworms rank as top-tier soil remodelers, drawn fiercely to food organics and O2 signals flagging prime spots. In usual dense clay, they flee the oxygen-poor depths for surface safety, ignoring the exact compacted band, killing your roots. Without any burrows, passages, or biological boring whatsoever in the critical, deep layer. That's where adding organic scraps to the buried bottle flips the script entirely. Kitchen waste like coffee grounds, banana peels, and smashed eggshells, stuff folks usually toss, triggers a targeted breakdown process right at depth once placed inside. The microbes fueling that decay release CO2 and warmth signals that draw earthworms downward via any available pore pathways. When they reach the feast, they start eating. And a worm munching deep is a worm digging deep non-stop. One earthworm churns out about 11 pounds of castings annually, while sustaining tunnel systems reaching 3 to 6 feet straight down. A thriving worm community which this setup fosters by supplying food plus an aerated route to it, boosts deep soil macro porosity by as much as 40%. That's per 2019 findings from Cornell University's Department of Soil and Crop Sciences, not shallow fluff. But profound structural overhaul in the clay itself, driven by living organisms instead of tools, and it builds on itself across each season you keep it going. Right here, most viewers should pause for a key mindset tweak. Forget being just a gardener who plants and hopes. You're now a below-ground systems architect, setting up the environment for physics and biology to take over. That switch alters your focus and choices from here on out. Quick caveat, ahead of the how-to. This shines brightest in soils with baseline biology and decent moisture. Parched, ultra-packed clay that's endured years of chemicals might ramp up gradually, perhaps needing a whole season for deep worm colonies to take hold. Not a flaw in the approach. It's a sign of severe soil trauma and the value of jumping in soon. With the mechanics clear, time to assemble it. Grab 3 to 4 big plastic bottles like those from soda, water, or milk, at least 1.5-liter capacity. Bigger means more air volume and a beefier passive pressure gradient. Ditch the cap, for good. Slice off the entire bottom cleanly, leaving an open cylinder broad at the base end and tapered at the neck, the ideal shape for Bernoulli's principle to kick in. Pick spots first, pre-digging. Around a mature tree or shrub, arrange 3 in a triangle at the drip line, the canopy's outer rim where feeding roots thrive, about 18 to 24 inches between each. In raised beds or veggie plots, run a row every 16 inches down the bed's length to cover the full root area below. For stressed potted plants, angle 1 bottle at 45 degrees into the pot for quick airflow through the root mass. Excavate holes deep enough so the inverted bottle, base downward, has its shoulder flush with ground level, neck poking 1 to 2 inches up. That's your chimney vent, the tight outlet where breezes create suction underneath. Tamp soil snug around each bottle's exterior to seal out surface gaps. Air must funnel mainly through the chimney, not leak everywhere. Installed, funnel in a handful of organics via the neck. Coffee grounds excel, their grit slows release, and nitrogen pulls worms like magnets. Ripped banana peels, crumbled dry leaves, or trickled compost tea do the trick too. Top off every 3 to 4 weeks, doubling as a check-in on nearby action. In lively soil, expect worm castings surfacing by 2 to 3 weeks near bottles, proof of deep bio-drilling underway. After a growing season, test 8 and down next to a spot versus untreated soil. The texture and probe resistance gap says it all. Zero cost. No follow-up expenses are needed, and it surpasses all liquid clay busters available, those tied to the $8.5 billion field of enduring soil structure enhancements, since such items merely address surface issues. Whereas this method fully restores the core problem. Reaching this point means you've gained insight that countless gardeners will throw hundreds of dollars at this year just to uncover. The $8.5 billion soil amendment sector hates the idea of this being the top search hit for clay soil troubles. They'd prefer their aerators, liquid treatments, and recurring regimens dominating the results. Sharing this with anyone battling garden woes directly undermines the promotional empire of an industry predicated on selling fixes for challenges that physics and biology resolve at no charge.